everybody, and thank you so much for tuning into our video this week. My name is Amelia.
And I'm Maggie.
And we're going to continue our discussion on feathers. This week we're talking about feather coloration. Joining me are two of our American kestrels, Sparrow and Tula. Sparrow is the male American kestrel, and you can really see the difference in colors between him and her. He's got this beautiful bluish gray on his wings, and she is brown and striped. And Maggie will talk more about why that difference exists. So how do feathers get their colors? There's two different ways. They can become colored from the structure of their feather or through different types of pigments. And there are three main types of pigments. The first is carotenoids. So those are pinks, reds, oranges, and yellows. So think of flamingos or scarlet ibises or this roseate spoonbill. Carotenoids are found in plants and algae as well. And so when crustaceans like shrimp eat algae, the roseate spoonbill will go and eat the crustaceans, and that's how they get the carotenoids. Now, birds like this are not born with colors in their feathers. They are going to be gray or white. And as they consume food with carotenoids in it, those are dissolved in their fats and deposited in their feathers. The next type of feather pigment is the melanins, and that's the same type of pigment that we have in our skin. So melanins are responsible for browns and grays and blacks, and they can interact with carotenoids to create blues and greens. Melanins also make the feather stronger and help to resist wear and tear. And the final type of pigment is a porphyrin, which is an amino acid that fluoresces underneath an ultraviolet light. Now, these kestrels can actually see ultraviolet light, and so if they were to look at a bird with a porphyrin pigment, they might see that bird fluorescing. Now, structural coloration is another way that feathers get their color. Think of the beautiful iridescence of peacocks and hummingbirds. That comes from microscopic structures in the barbules of the feather that refract light just like a prism does to create these beautiful colors. And there's non-iridescent structural pigment as well, such as in blue jays and this indigo bunting. So there are tiny spaces of air between each barb on the feather that scatter the light so that the only thing that us humans can see when the light reflects back to our eyes is this beautiful blue color. So Maggie is now going to come on and tell us about how birds use colors.
Right. I just think that's so interesting that that bluebird is not actually blue. So crazy. So Tula and I are going to be discussing why birds have such variation of colors of their feathers. I'll refresh you on Tula's rescue story. She was rescued in Tularosa, New Mexico after falling from her nest as a chick. And she in turn became a human imprint, meaning she associates more with humans than she does with other kestrels. A fun fact about Tula is she recently discovered her love of eating mealworms. And that's really interesting because she had never wanted to eat mealworms. They had been offered to her, but she didn't seem interested. But now she's decided they're super yummy for dinner and for snacks. So, fun fact about Tula. So, like we said, birds have a variation of colors for multiple different reasons. And we've touched on these a couple times in our previous videos. But usually birds have different colors for at least one of these reasons. First, to, like Tula, help birds hide from predators during nesting season by camouflaging. The second reason, like Sparrow, is to attract mates and to attract attention while courting mates. Another reason is to aid in defending their territory by making themselves look really prominent while in their own territory. Another reason is to attract attention while distracting predators. And lastly, colors and patterns can help birds identify their very own species.
Can you talk about false spots?
Yes, and like we said, birds can use their feather coloration to distract from predators. And Tula has a really great example of that. She has eye spots on her feathers. They're not actually eyes, but they are to trick a bird or a predator that would be above her into thinking that she's looking right at them. And so that is a really cool way that plumage helps kestrels avoid predators. Another really cool way that their plumage of birds, of certain birds, can help them distract from predators is the killdeer's method of distracting from predators. And a killdeer is named after their sound. They make a sound that sounds like killdeer, like they're saying that. So when a killdeer sees a predator near their nest, they pretend to be hurt and will actually flop around on the ground with their wings extended and pretending like a wing is broken. And then underneath their wing, you can't really see it in this picture, they actually have a rust patch of plumage, or rust-colored patch of plumage, I should say, that may make it look like they're bleeding when they're doing this behavior to a predator. So using that behavior and their specialized plumage colors, the killdeer tricks the predator into following them away from their nest and then quickly flies away because they're not actually injured. And then one other really cool fact about killdeer is it seems like they have their own favorite colors. They build their nests in shallow depressions in the ground that they dig. And while they lay eggs, they will actually surround that depression with different debris like shells, sticks, trash, and rocks. And when they do that, they actually always pick lightly colored items. And that's very interesting because there have been experiments that support that trend. So killdeer might have favorite colors and they really like those bright light colors for their nests, which is very interesting to me. So what are some unique ways that colors can help birds camouflage? One of my very favorite examples of how coloration helps animals camouflage is counter shading. This is not a bird, this is a shark, but sharks are a great example of very extreme counter shading, or Thayer's law. So that is the beautiful coloration that has the darker colors on the top and the lighter colors on the bottom. Even Tula has counter shading. She's got lighter colors on her front and those darker brown colors on her back. This allows the animal to blend in from angles that are different from both the top and the bottom. So say Tula is flying through the sky and a predator looks up at her. They're going to see the lighter coloration against the sun and against the shadows. If a predator is looking down at Tula or down at this shark, they will see the darker coloration against the ground. So they blend in both ways, which is super cool. So that's counter shading. And lastly, how do colors and patterns help birds identify their own species? Like Amelia said, many birds that appear to be blue, like bluebirds and blue jays, are not actually really blue. The color we see is the light reflecting off of their brown feathers and the air around them. Fortunately for those types of birds, predators like hawks and owls probably don't have that reflection in their eyes. They can't pick up on it. And so they see the bird as just a brown bird, which is super interesting. So they remain protected, but they also get that bright blue coloration that we see and that they see. And they are able to identify each other by their patterns and by their colors to potential mates and to their own species. So that's super cool. Well, thanks so much for watching our video today. We've had a lot of fun with this one. I learned a lot from Amelia's section, and we hope you will tune in next week. Be sure to like this video. It helps us get more viewers. Thanks so much.